Hello, welcome. So first thing, I don't have a separate mic this time. So I know in the past when I'm filming something without a mic, the audio quality has not been super great. I'll try to keep my voice consistent, so my apologies ahead of time. Want to talk today about the $2.3 million stretch goal. We either have hit or we're very close to hitting the $2 million stretch goal. So thank you everyone who has helped make that possible. It's pretty amazing that we've managed to get the funding that we have. The outpouring of support is still incredible. So thank you so much. I want to talk about the stretch goal for $2.3 million though. The first thing that comes with the stretch goal are modes. So we want to give people a lot of different options for how they play the game, not just in the sense of what characters they play and what sort of personalities they have and the abilities and the composition of their party and all the cool stuff that goes into an RPG, but also the way that they actually play through the game, their experience in playing the game from a mechanical perspective. We've noted a lot of different opinions on mechanics, things ranging from how information is displayed in the game, things like companion, reputation, gaining and loss, and how that's represented on the screen, how skill checks are presented, helper sort of information in general, and then levels of difficulty. Some people like really brutal punishing mechanics. Other people, they really want it to be kind of low key and they enjoy the gameplay, but they don't really want it to be super brutal. So what we'd like to do is use the stretch goal to fund having a lot of options for these things. So there's a big range that people want to see supported. We want to give people the ability to turn those features on and off if they want. And we also want to encapsulate them into more sort of big deal challenge modes. So for example, a lot of these ease of use and difficulty features for combat or just gameplay in general can be rolled together into what we're calling our expert mode. And that's really for people who just say like, don't help me at all, give me the harsh stuff, the normal game, but make it challenging. Don't give me a heads up on what's going on. I'll figure it out. I'll deal with the consequences. I'll suffer through it. So that's what expert mode is for. That's the sort of vibe for it is really for people that want an experience that is, it's up to them to sort of like figure out how to get through it, and they're probably going to have to deal with and manage stuff a lot more manually on their own. So expert mode is for that. Trial of Iron is basically like Iron Man mode. If you've played Temple of Elemental Evil, you get a save for your party. It's a rolling save, so you replace it as you go. If your party dies, your save game gets destroyed. So goodbye, start a new party. So some people really like that. We wanted to include that. So that's what Trial of Iron is for. Path of the Damned is much like the old Icewind Dale Heart of Fury mode. So it turns on all the monsters that can be supported by our various encounter spawning groups, and it generally tweaks the combat mechanics to make them more lethal all around. So Path of the Damned is for that sort of a crazy combat challenge. And we want to allow you to mix and match these things. So if you want to play with one mode or two mode or three modes at the beginning of the game, turn them all on, go nuts, you can do it. And then also, along with all these modes, we want to support the ability for you to turn on and off individual features when it makes sense. If you do want to have a certain combat challenge difficulty, but you don't, you want the mechanic that sort of makes the combat more difficult, but you do want the help on dialogue options and things like that and make it more visible, we want to give you the ability to turn that stuff on and off at will. So that would the funding for that would also go towards that. And then we also want to use the stretch goal to fund the Godlike races, which we've talked about before. So the Godlike, again, can be thought of as sort of similar to Plain Touched in D&D, where they're touched by an otherworldly presence. And there's more detail on those guys in our update, as well as you might be asking, hey, what about the other races that we funded so far, which we're working on, but because those are a little less easy to summarize as, well, they're just like this other race, we are putting more time into defining them and concepting their look and their place in the world. So that's all for this update. Again, thank you so much for your support. Next time I should have a mic. And thanks again. Give us all your feedback here on our forums. Again, when you give us feedback, it helps us determine what we need to be talking about and supporting in the future. So thanks.